Picture this, it's the 18th century, an era known as the Age of Enlightenment. This was a time of monumental change, with the French and Indian War sending ripples across continents and the birth of a new nation, the United States. It was an era of intellectual revolution, where reason and individualism began to overshadow tradition, an era where ideas took flight, challenging the status quo. In this vibrant and transformative period, a young man named George Washington was coming of age. Born in 1732 in Virginia, George Washington was the eldest of 6 children. His family was moderately prosperous, with interests in tobacco farming and iron mining. When Washington was just 11 years old, his father passed away, and he was largely self-educated thereafter. Despite their financial status, the Washingtons were not part of the Virginia elite, and the young George spent his early years learning the trade of surveying. His first taste of military life came in 1752, when he was commissioned a major in the Virginia militia. His role was to train the local forces and protect the colony's frontier against Native American tribes. However, it was during the French and Indian War, a conflict over colonial territories between British and French forces, that Washington truly cut his teeth as a military leader. He led a disastrous expedition against the French in 1754, a humiliating defeat which he barely escaped with his life. Yet he learned from his mistakes, and his leadership during the Siege of Boston in 1775 was instrumental in driving the British out of the city. Washington's experiences during these conflicts gave him a unique perspective on British colonial policies. He grew frustrated with the British government's indifference to colonial interests and became a vocal critic of their policies. Despite the hardships he faced, Washington's military experience would prove invaluable in the years to come. Fast forward a few years to the American Revolution, where Washington, now a seasoned soldier, was chosen to lead the Continental Army. His leadership during this time was marked by strategic decisions that would ultimately shape the course of the war. Washington, however, was not without his struggles. He faced numerous obstacles, including a lack of resources and a somewhat inexperienced army. Despite these challenges, Washington led his troops with unwavering resolve. He was a master of strategy, utilizing a combination of traditional and guerrilla warfare tactics. A key turning point in the Revolution was when Washington bravely led his troops across the icy Delaware River on Christmas night, surprising the enemy and securing a much-needed victory. The final triumph came at the Battle of Yorktown, where, with the support of French allies, Washington's troops forced the British to surrender. With the British surrender at Yorktown, Washington had led the fledgling United States to victory. From the battlefield to the presidency, George Washington was not done making history. Ascending to the highest office in the land, Washington was tasked with the monumental responsibility of establishing a new government. He faced this challenge with the same steadfast determination he'd shown throughout his life. As the first president, Washington was in uncharted territory. There were no precedents to guide him, no rules to follow. But this did not deter him. He went on to establish the first cabinet, create a financial system, and adopt a policy of neutrality in foreign affairs. But perhaps one of his most significant contributions was his decision to step down after 2 terms. This move was not mandated by the Constitution, but Washington chose to do it, setting a precedent for future presidents. His humility and foresight allowed for the peaceful transition of power, a cornerstone of American democracy. And so, after 8 years in office, Washington retired, leaving behind a nation forever changed by his leadership. George Washington, a name synonymous with American history, left an indelible mark on the nation he helped create. His legacy, as profound as it is extensive, has shaped the presidency and American history in ways that still resonate today. As the first president, Washington set a high bar for leadership, imbued with values of integrity, humility, and an unwavering commitment to the nation. His refusal of a 3rd term, a precedent that held until the 20th century, demonstrated his belief in democratic principles over personal power. Washington's character was of a rare breed. His devotion to his country, his stoic resilience in the face of adversity, and his principled stand on matters of national importance have made him an enduring symbol of American values. His popularity, far from waning over the centuries, has grown. He is celebrated not just as a founding father, but as a symbol of what it truly means to be an American leader. And so George Washington, a soldier, a statesman, and a leader, remains a towering figure in American history, a testament to the power of integrity and leadership.